man who had his tongue cut out and his left arm chopped off had been lying in bed for a full year. When the police came to his door, his skin had festered and he had countless bed sores. To everyone's surprise, he was still alive. The police rushed him to the hospital. The doctor said he wouldn't live through the night because he hasn't eaten anything for a year. He's been injected with nutrient solution to survive. But today, he has missed the best time to live. Hearing these words, the police felt an unprecedented pressure. According to the information, the man is a drug dealer. Although he was arrested by the police before, he spent a lot of money to find a lawyer to bail him out. This time they were able to find the drug dealer because the lawyer who collected the black money was killed, and the way the crime was committed was quite brutal. The murderer first cut off the lawyer's flesh to bleed it out, and when the blood dried up, he wrote a word "greed" in front of the corpse. The lawyer's flesh was placed on a scale and weighed exactly 1 pound. It corresponds exactly to the 1 pound of meat contracted by the merchant of Venice. What's even more bizarre is that the police searched the entire room and found only one mutilated fingerprint. The source of the fingerprint is the drug dealer's chopped off left hand. There seems to be a connection between the two cases, and the murderer seems to be deliberately leading the police to investigate the case. When the police came to the drug dealer's room, they saw another word for laziness. It seems that both murders are related to the 7 deadly sins of the Catholic Church. The murderer is using the police's hands to announce this to the world. The drug dealer, who gets something for nothing, corresponds to the 7 deadly sins of sloth, and the money-grubbing lawyer corresponds to the 7 deadly sins of greed. This means that the murderer will follow the same pattern. There will be weapons, and murders will happen. But strangely enough, there doesn't seem to be any connection between the people killed. Because before this, a psychopathic murder case explains everything. This man died in a very strange way. His face was buried in noodles and his hands and feet were tied with wire. But strangely, except for a bruise on the back of his head, there were no obvious trauma or signs of a struggle. The police couldn't find any clues, so they had to do an autopsy. Only then did they find that the fat man's stomach was bleeding profusely. Apparently he had a gun staring at the back of his head. He was threatened to eat for 24 hours and died at the dinner table. Police Jack came to Fatty's house and searched carefully. They did find it, 2 words: overeating. This shows that Fatty is also a victim of the 7 deadly sins murder case. The murderer is so quick, Jack is under pressure. He found his old friend in the FBI and asked him to help him find clues. In the days before the internet, the FBI had the only source of information. That was the library records of people who had borrowed books on the 7 deadly sins. Jack immediately recognized a suspicious person. According to the address, Jack and Peter went to the door to investigate and collect evidence. Suddenly, a mysterious man walked up and shot Jack. Luckily, they reacted quickly and dodged in time. The suspect tried to run away. Peter rushed after him. The suspect had an ambush. Peter was trapped when it chased him out. The suspect put the gun on Peter's head. Peter's eyes were closed tightly, ready to accept death, but the murderer suddenly turned around and left. Jack arrived and took Peter into the mystery man's home. According to the photos of the drug dealer's severed hand murder case, this evidence is enough to prove that the mystery man is the murderer. If they follow the clues, they'll catch the murderer soon. But the murderer didn't give them a chance. 2 murders followed in quick succession. A man murdered a woman in a nightclub in an extremely brutal manner. On the door was written the word lust, and another actress committed suicide in her home. Her left hand held the phone and her right hand held the poison. Because the murderer had cut off her nose, she didn't want to face that face. She'd rather die than call for help. The murderer wrote the word pride on her bed. So far, there have been 5 murders. Just 2 more murders, and he'll be on track to fulfill the 7 deadly sins. But just as the police were thinking about his next target, the killer showed up at the police station. This man came to the police station to turn himself in because he killed 5 people in 6 days. The blood on his body was still wet, and he was lying on the ground without any intention to resist. Jack couldn't understand why the murderer chose to turn himself in at this time. He has completed 5 of the 7 deadly sins. Only jealousy and anger remained to be realized. The murderer's lawyer gave the answer that the other 2 bodies had been hidden by the murderer. He could plead guilty. The only condition was that they had to go with the killer to claim the bodies. Otherwise, he'll be let off for insanity. Jack had no choice but to take Peter and the killer with him. The killer tells them that the people they killed are not innocent. They all carry the 7 deadly sins. He describes the sins: lazy drug dealers who do harm to others, greedy lawyers who see money in the eyes of the beholder, the fat overeater who wastes resources, the arrogant celebrity who loves vanity, and the woman who knows she's sick and still comes out to pick up clients. He killed them as a warning to the world on behalf of God. The car traveled on and soon reached its destination, and a van drove up in the distance. Jack thought it was the murderer's accomplice, but he didn't realize that it was just a courier after he intercepted it. The courier told Jack that he had to deliver the package before 7 o'clock. Jack opened it and was horrified. Then it dawned on him. The so-called hidden body is the courier in front of him. The killer's real intention was to provoke Peter. The murderer told Peter that he was very jealous of Peter's beautiful wife. He asked for Peter's wife's contact information but was refused, so he killed her. He packed up her head and sent it by courier. Peter didn't want to believe it, but looking at Jack in the distance, it seemed to be the truth. The killer then tells Peter that his wife begged him to spare the baby. Peter is suddenly surprised because he didn't know she was pregnant. Jack says that if Peter kills the murderer, he wins. But at this point, Peter was completely overwhelmed by anger. He shot the murderer several times and the murderer died of jealousy, and Peter was judged by his own anger. The murderer had planned everything, including his death by Peter's gun before 7 o'clock. The only thing he didn't realize was that Peter didn't know about his wife's pregnancy. He showed that the world is a sinful and cold place, and that when humanity falls, sin begins to spread, and the guilty will be punished.